Hello, ActiveSage here on the Sage channel. It's Sleep, Art, Game, and Eat. And today a patch came out that added the Warheads. To be exact, these are just called Warheads, but they're a replacement for the things that were basically mines before. And on the side, this is one here. You can see that they basically look like the same old mines that we had, except for now they have slightly different colored bits here, a control panel on the side, and most notably, this thing all around the outside here, which sort of makes them easier to place, and I believe that's the main point. Now, this control panel itself, currently, if you go up to and press K, you can see it doesn't do anything. It doesn't even highlight. You can't use it. And I figure it'll be used sometime in the future. Maybe to change the payload, maybe change how easily it can be set off, maybe even change team designation. Not really sure, but I'm pretty sure it's there for a reason, and we'll see that in the future. Another thing they did today is, we have the gun here, and if I fire it, you'll notice that the gun actually gets pulled back a little bit, so they've done a little bit to make it actually seem pretty nice now. And of course, I have read that this was added by accident in the original thing, but it's nice to see that even if it was added by accident, now they're saying, okay, well, we'll leave it in, and we'll even make it even better. So here we go, it kind of pulls back. It's pretty nice. The zoom in is about the same, but I'm not really hearing that sound anymore. I'm a little under the weather, so it's possible I'm just not hearing it. But if you can hear that zoom in sound, good for you. Anyway, the mines themselves can of course be set off by if you run into them too quickly, like that, or if you simply shoot them. And of course, the mines themselves will not be set off if you just slowly sort of drift into them like that. You see here, it's not going off. But of course, you get up to, I think it's 10 meters per second? Yeah, around there, and they go off the second you hit them. And you see they do some pretty serious damage. And you see those little debris particles that you might have seen flying up. Those are, interestingly, affected by gravity. I'm not sure if they were before, but you can see them all sort of fly up and then start falling down before they, of course, disappear because they're not real debris. Now here you can see we have our test things that we set up before for the gun, and the gun does damage just about the same as it did before, so nothing really new there. The weapon spread seems about the same, but we can actually test how long it takes for bullets to get stuff, because you can see here I have a lot of large explosives set up out there, so we can take aim, fire at them, and you can see it takes a second for stuff to go off, because it takes time for the bullets to get out there. And the weapon spread doesn't actually seem to be as bad as I originally thought it was, because you see here I'm aiming to the side, and I'd expect the weapon spread to be hitting stuff, so it's actually pretty tight hit. And you can see there, it just takes a while for bullets to get there. And of course these mines, if they are close enough to each other, they will cause chain reactions, which is pretty cool. But all these are pretty well spaced, so you usually don't get chain reactions. Every now and again I have noticed a few things setting each other off, which has been pretty cool. But usually you don't see too much of that. That's weird, that one didn't go off. There we go. We also have the mines that you can put on small ships. And these, I'm just going to, oh, right, of course, pressing control, of course, still sets off the gun. So I'm going to copy this. And now you can see I'm moving, and if I paste it, it stops moving. That's something I've noticed in this patch as well, is that if you're pasting something while you're moving, it doesn't keep moving unless you're moving, let's say, above, probably around the 10 meters per second mark. So there was 8. And it kept moving. Let's do that again. So there was 8 and I posted. So a lot of times you have to be moving pretty fast for when you post something for it to actually keep on moving. Of course you can still left mouse click and throw stuff quite quickly. What else do we have here? Of course these small mines, their actual impact damage is not as great as the larger things. As you can see, I threw it down there. And that was about 4 mines, at least 3 that hit there. The other one I think mounting on flying. And you see they didn't tear through it directly. They did bounce up and do some damage there and get rid of a joint, but they're nowhere near as powerful as their larger components, which is only to be expected. Really quickly, to demonstrate that, I'm actually going to fly over here and jump in one of these little vehicles. And I'm going to fly into some of those mines. I'm going to just show you the sort of differences in damage that you can get from those. So here we go. We got our ship up. We got it lined up. Now I'm going to fly into that small minefield of little itty bitty mines that you can see dead ahead. And they're all set up like the ones I was just throwing around, but they got 3 mines on the bottom, 1 on the top. And these are all count as small ships basically. So there we go. You can see impact there. I think they actually might have slightly glitched through us. So I'm going to get out of here. And yeah, you can see they glitched through the front part of the ship because we were moving so fast. Remember, this game is an alpha, but then you can see they impacted on the back part here. And really quickly, I'm going to do another pass on them in this ship. And yeah, you can see some even more damage actually on this left side here. I'm actually having some trouble accelerating here. I have a feeling a lot of those mines might have actually gotten into the ship and taken out some engines in the back. So I can't actually accelerate as easily as I did before. In fact, I'm accelerating so slowly now that I'm I've cut ahead a little bit until we actually got some speed up. You can see some pieces falling off, and here we go. We're about to have an impact here. Much slower speed, hopefully still fast enough to set them off. And yep. And you can see they've done some more damage. You can see there were some little real small pieces that go flying off. Well, I've been testing this in the past. I have had small pieces of these ships go flying and actually set off other mines, which is pretty cool and to be expected, really. Okay, let me get out of here. I'll hop in the other ship that was a clone of this one, and I'll fly into some big mines to show you that. Alrighty, here we go. In this other ship, you can see it accelerates much quicker now, really quickly. As I said, I'm just going to fly into some of these larger mines and show you how much of a difference the big mines make, and it's pretty nice, and it's to be expected. So, here we go. And you can see, I just nicked that one, and oh, I thought I was going to hit that one too, but you can see just from basically a few mine hits, it's torn open the whole front part of the ship, which is pretty awesome. Of course, usually when you're a smaller ship, it might be easier to avoid these larger mines because you could just fly between them, whereas a small minefield that clustered, maybe spread out over a larger area, though, would be pretty hard to avoid them all. Now, really quickly, that's about all, but before I go, I have a large ship docked somewhere out there that I can't currently find. There it is, it's hiding right there. And that's a bomber that I built in the previous video before these mines actually worked. I reposted all the mines because the older mines were removed, and now with the Warheads, I keep calling them mines, but the Warheads, I have them stuck on the bottom of this old bomber, and I'm just going to really quickly bomb that platform I was on earlier. You can see this is the ship that I've shown off a video before of how it basically works and how I set it up. So if you want to see that, there should be an annotation on screen, but really quickly I'm just going to take this thing and bomb it. And by the way I put these mines in was pretty simple. I basically put them all in either by just clicking and dragging, they all went in there right there, and then removing this panel and this panel. That way it separates it from the ship and becomes its own entity, and then went inside the ship and turned on the plating to actually grab a hold of it. And really quickly, let me just fix that, and now I'll go and actually take this ship for a spin. Alrighty, and basically if you haven't watched the other video and you don't feel like going back and watching it, this ship works by accelerating up to its attack speed, disabling its inertial dampeners, and then rotating that way its bottom area faces the enemy ship. I gotta rotate slightly slowly or I'll blow myself up like that. We had some mines go off. Let's just release the rest of them. Now turn on our inertial. Oh, I botched it all up. Oh, okay. Damn. Let me... Well, you can see that was pretty powerful of an explosion. Let me really quickly load that back up and try that one more time. Alrighty, I'm way farther back this time. I have the ship lined up perfectly pretty much and just reversed it out here. So now I'm going to accelerate us up to our attack speed. There we are. Disable our inertial dampeners. Now absolutely slowly, very, very slowly, going to rotate us upwards. That way the mines are facing downwards towards our target. The ship should still continue in a direct line towards our target because we've disabled our inertial dampeners. There we go. That should be good right about there. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. And I'm just going to do a little farther to make sure we don't hit ourselves with any of the mines. Or warheads, pardon. And now I'm going to release them. And I'm going to press spacebar to get us going upwards a bit. You see now all those little lights turned off. You can see the mines are on their way. And they should be pretty much on target to hit the station down there and give us a good old impact. Well, you can see about half of them hit. Somehow I missed that brilliantly. Anyway, let's go down there, take a look at the damage. Oh, jeez. Okay, this ship is still moving. Let's get out of there. And you can see that even though most of the mines miss, the few that hit, they do a lot of damage. Ideally, this bomber, it's the sort of thing that we want to retire. It was a good idea back then, but considering how finicky those warheads are, something with a more direct approach, as I actually showed in the official video for this patch, sort of a warhead thing where the ship fires them forward, so you don't have to worry about them. They're off to the sides, and you don't have to worry about as much collision as you can end up getting on that ship's hull. But anyway, that was an old idea. I just want to show it in action with actually some working mines. That's pretty cool. And you see, even though most of them missed, it still did enough damage to rip open the overpass walkway we have here and tear into the main opening of this little random building. Anyway, thanks a bunch for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time. Alrighty, so here we go. The ship's nice distance away this time. I'm going to accelerate it up to its top speed, disable the inertial dampeners, very slowly adjust its aim, and then release its payload. Hopefully this time we won't have the same issues we had last time. So there we go. Up to that speed. Adjusting its aim. There, son of a bitch. Right, okay, so if I overbuild the ship again, mental note, need to change how it works a lot. Let's release our payload, turn on our inertial dampeners quickly now. Okay, where are the bombs going? Why aren't they getting out of the ship? Oh, I think I've missed. God dang it!